So people often ask me about tasting notes and how you develop your palate and all of these things. And sometimes I'll come up with a tasting note that's weird. But in this instance, I found a weird tasting note in an Indian whiskey, an Irish whiskey, a bourbon, and a rye. And if you want to hear about it, then stick around. Austin, I have you on the show today because you generally are a Scotch drinker.
It's true.
And while we don't have any Scotch on the table, we do have a Indian whiskey that is made by Amroot, and they typically make a Scotch-esque product.
Single malt.
Yeah, and then I also have the Redbreast 27 out. And Redbreast 27, when it first came out, was around $500 a bottle. I got one, liked it. Now the SRP's gone up to like $900 or something. Wow. So I'm out on that, but I'll let you be the judge. And I found that those two had a similar tasting note to each other. And then I was introduced to a Watershed distillery, and I tasted their bourbon, and some of their single barrels have this same tasting note. And then my wife was introduced to Alfa Romeo after my whiskey group, Some Would Say Whiskey, went to Whistle Pig to do a single barrel. They got to taste it there before it was released in Texas, and they brought a bottle back and shared it with everybody. So when Alfa Romeo hit, a lot of people in town already knew what it was, and it has that same tasting note. So as a Scotch drinker, I wanted to see, because this is something you typically don't find in bourbon, so I wanted to see what you would find in all of this.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Yeah, all right. So let's start nosing the glasses up. If you want to just talk out loud about what you're smelling and tasting, that is fine.
This Amroot smells like mango to me.
Yes.
Passion fruit, some sort of tropical.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's certainly in that direction. And so, without letting it go too far, what I got the first time I smelled and tasted the Redbreast 27 was ruby red grapefruit. Go ahead and taste it.
Citrus, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and taste it. You taste any grapefruit?
I do, and I love grapefruit.
Yeah,
actually.
do you? So
wow.
When I cracked this bottle, it was funny because I had just cracked it, and my good friend and business partner on Some Would Say Whiskey was here, Alex Baptista, and we were doing a bottle share, and there were like 30 people in the room, and he yells from in here, and I was out there, so of course everybody heard him, and he's like, "Hey Randy, is that Redbreast 27 open?" And I turned and looked at him and just kind of shot him the daggers, and I'm like, "You know that it is." So everybody in the room wanted to try it, and I just paid like $425 for the bottle or something, and I lost about half of the bottle that day. So I got him back though when we were at his house one time. But I started to tell people this does not taste like its tasting note. I mean, it is its tasting note. Like it tastes so much like ruby red grapefruit.
It does.
So then we move all the way over to the right to this Amroot. And we host these tastings at usually Alex's house. And we have people from the production tier come and present to our Whiskey Club members. They usually buy them dinner, and then they let them taste through their entire line of products. And normally it's a brand rep or something like that. The master distiller from Amroot, who had flown to the United States from India, walked into my buddy's house. This guy is like named 3 times the International Distiller of the Year. I mean, this guy is brilliant, and super approachable. Like the conversation style was like so laid back. And so we're tasting through all of his products, and he goes, now most of our products are made more in a traditional Scotch style, and they're double distilled. He said, but I did a production run a few years ago, and we triple distilled. And so for those of you at home, most Scotch whiskey is distilled twice on pot stills for single malts, but in Ireland, it is common for them to be triple distilled. And so he says, this is more of an Irish style. And as soon as I smelled this whiskey, I turned and looked at Alex, and I was like, it's got that grapefruit thingy.
Yeah, and citrus fruit.
So I say that to the 3-time world distiller of the year, and he goes, actually, it's lychee. And I have not eaten lychee.
I have, actually, and I see that. So it's a fruit I've only had a couple times.
Yeah.
So it didn't spring to mind, but there's definitely that tropical fruitiness.
Yeah. So when you're saying mango and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's in that direction.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh crap! Now I have a new pretentious word I can say while I'm doing reviews, right? Yeah. So were you detecting a little lychee? But I don't mind calling it the ruby red grapefruit either. So then Alex comes back. He's got this Alfa Romeo. He figures that my wife will like it because she likes finished, sweeter things.
So a moment.
Yeah.
I know Alfa Romeo is a car manufacturer.
That is correct.
I don't know them as a whiskey producer.
They have a race team.
Yeah.
And so Whistlepig partnered with the Alfa Romeo race team. They came to the distillery, did some experimenting, came up with this blend and released it. And it's called G-Force. And there's all of these elements of the bottle that tie into the team and their number, and really cool thing. So Lindsay falls in love with it, and she's like, this is my new favorite whiskey. I just love this, right? And so I tasted it.
I guess I haven't tasted any yet.
And I was like, oh, there it is. There's the lychee ruby red grapefruit flavor. But that one is a little more on the nose because this whiskey is actually finished with lychee in tea barrels.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's pretty obvious that it would have the lychee flavor since I don't know what a lychee barrel is, but somehow they imparted lychee flavor into some barrels that they finished with. And so I'm like, okay, now I found this from a whiskey that's in Ireland and a whiskey that is from India and a rye whiskey from the United States. So then I go to the Watershed Distillery. I'd had a couple of their single barrels. My Patreon group took a big group of people, I think there were 28 people there, to the distillery. We did a private tour. We sat down, we tasted a bunch of single barrels, and some of the people that attended the tour were locals that had done picks there before. And one of the locals comes up and he says, hey, I want you to have a bottle of our pick that we did while we were here. And so he gives me the bottle and I crack it and I taste it. Lychee. And so I ended up picking up this distillery only release while I was at the distillery. It has it, but not as strong as the single barrel that I had. And it's just a lovely note. Now it's much lighter on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's integrated with a lot more vanilla. And so it does taste slightly different.
Yeah.
But it's in there. So what do you think?
They're all delicious, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, adding flavoring, I guess, isn't something I'm a bit of a purist about that, but it tastes really good.
Yeah, so I don't know what the barrel finishing process is with this. So, but this one's the only one that's not aged. Well, it may be aged traditionally, but I don't know how you'd make a tea barrel.
Sure. I think tea is a wood. Tea wood is a thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I maybe they age tea leaves in a barrel. I don't know. But these are obviously the Redbreast 27, the Watershed, and the Amroot are all aged traditionally, same way that a Scotch should be aged, except for Watershed, all their barrels have to be new.
Gosh, I'm
whereas
about tea being a wood.
Yeah, Amroot and Redbreast, they are probably aged in used barrels. But yeah, so I just found it so interesting that the Amroot triple distilled had such a similar characteristic
The triple distilled.
to the triple distilled Irish. And so I'm curious from your perspective, which one do you like more?
The noses are so different to me. This almost reminds me of olive oil,
Okay.
which is weird, honestly. It tastes nothing like that. It tastes like fruit.
Right.
Fruit, citrus, lychee. And this one, I just get the lychee, the mango, the citrus right off the nose immediately.
I'm ready to call it. No rush.
All. I can't call it.
You can't?
I like them equally well.
Okay.
I mean, value-wise, I'm sure the Amrit is
Yeah.
a much better choice.
So let's do this. Of these whiskeys, $900. Buy or pass?
Pass.
Pass at 9. I think this one's like 55-ish.
I'd probably buy that.
Okay. This one is at cash strength $59.99.
I'd also buy that.
Okay. This one is $180.
That's... these are both my favorites. Between the two, I guess I might go for that, yeah.
Yeah,
But
so as a Scotch drinker, 180 is not terrible for a limited edition release,
it's
right?
true.
Yeah. And their pricing is more in alignment with Scotch than it is American whiskeys.
Also true.
So yeah, I would say for me that the odds of me owning an Amroot triple distilled is high. The odds of me buying another 27-year Redbreast is pretty close to 0.
Yeah.
Unless I won the lottery or something, which would be difficult because I took statistics in college and I don't play the lottery. In conclusion, if you are interested in that Redbreast flavor, but you're not interested in the Redbreast price, I would check out the Amroot Triple Distilled if you can find it. At $180 is the value for that category of whiskey, I think. And I enjoy it quite a bit. And it has that strong lychee flavor mixed in with some other tropical fruit notes.
Yeah, and very unique nose.
And he couldn't call it, but I actually prefer the Amroot slightly over the Redbreast. I'd say the Redbreast is about 94-ish on a 100-point scale for me. And the Amroot's probably like a 96 for me. Yeah, so they're pretty close, but this is at the very top end of flavor quality that I would expect from this style of international whiskey. So hopefully that was useful to you. We always do a free giveaway whenever we do these videos. And we are going to be giving away, let's see, how much whiskey do we have? We got enough for 2. We're going to do 2 1-ounce sample packs of all of these whiskeys so you can create this experience for yourself at home. All you have to do to enter is like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so that you're notified of future giveaways and future content, and then go to the video description and click the link to enter your name. We run a randomizer, post the results publicly on the page, reach out to the winner, get your address, and ship you your samples absolutely for free. And if you like this content, you want to support the channel, you should check out our Patreon. We got a lot of member benefits over there. It's not just a monthly donation. We also have membership levels at all price points that fit every budget. So if you're interested in bonus content and in-person meetups, going to distilleries for takeovers, being king for the day, single barrels, virtual bottle shares, there's so much that goes on in there. You should check that out. But if you don't want to do that, you should at least go to bourbonrealtalk.com and check out our merch. We have a lot of things that are specifically designed for whiskey people. We have a nosing kit to develop your palate so you can pick out tasting notes like this. We have bottle carrying bags. We have custom glassware carriers for your glasses so they don't break. All types of things over there. So check that out at bourbonrealtalk.com. And you can also consider hiring me as your residential real estate agent in the Houston or Dallas metro area. My real estate company subsidized this channel since its inception, and I do give away epic bottles as closing gifts, so keep that in mind. But if this is your first time tuning into the channel, I'd love to tell you a little bit about our show philosophy and why we do this. We're all about bringing people together around whiskey, and that's something that is important to me because I lost a loved one to suicide. And in the aftermath of my brother's passing, talking with a lot of his friends, I realized that he had lost a lot of the social connections that kept him bonded to this world. And I saw how whiskey was creating those same sorts of social connections among enthusiasts. And so I thought maybe if I could get you connected to whiskey, the whiskey would do the rest of the job and get you connected to others. But if you're going to have connection, you need a forum. And a lot of forums have a lot of negativity in them because there's something out there we call whiskey trolls that show hate to strangers online. So we created a forum that had no whiskey trolls. It's called Bourbon Real Talk Community. It's Facebook based and it's free, and you're welcome to go join. But learning from the trolls, we knew we needed to create the community, but we also learned that if trolls can get online and hate people they don't even know through the internet, it's possible for us to love people we don't even know through the internet. And that's why we end every episode the same way, and that's this. If you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that I love you. We'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk. Cheers.
Cheers.